Dear friend, everything is changed, destroyed, or deserted in Aleppo. Even in our dreams, we no longer know what safety means. Every time you open your eyes, you don't know if it's the last time you will see your kids. The people you used to know are not here anymore. The simplest things have become very hard. To buy food or water, you have to wait in a long line and then keep waiting. It's not just fighting on the front lines. It's not just the continuous bombing. There are snipers hidden in every corner on the way out of the city. And now, it's time to leave. I'm leaving for a place I'm not sure even exists. Many are already waiting along the Turkish border. It's an open, cold space, crowded with 70,000 people, where the temperature is freezing. My heart will always remain here. Goodbye, Aleppo, where all my memories are. I hope to see you there again one day, my friend.
I was pondering the children who had been killed by sarin gas in Syria, thinking about the kids who had been bombed in Sudan, and I had this idea. I wonder if you could pick up spent bullet casings and make them into brass charms, and they could help the kids who are brutalized by terror. It just came in one clean arc in my mind. As a mother, I think your heart aches. We are maternal, and we are looking for safety, for help. I think we project that if it was my kid, if I was there, what would I want someone else to do? From a distance, we feel very disenfranchised. Watching the news makes you feel isolated and so far away. And I think I was hoping I could run up the hills of Sinjar or drop some water from a helicopter, do something that was going to make a tangible difference.
Lenya Heitzig is a mother and wife of Pastor Skip Heitzig. She is founder and executive director of Reload Love, based in Albuquerque, and dedicated to conveying God's love by touching children impacted by terrorism.
The biggest crisis since World War II, beyond belief. There were 3,000 families, children impacted by 9/11. There are 200,000 children in Myanmar that have been displaced. There are nearly 2 million children from Syria. The UN called that a crisis of epic proportions, that this is a generation lost.
كيف مشجعنا خو كله خو دي وتم فروج الفيلم تدم شركوتو من دي لبيالا ريلود لاف أني لي ببناية ملاعب عجايب أردن وعراق وبيوالي فرصة تتبسخي بقاواح بلقد محنا دي لي بقاواح إلى طريقة زورتا اتأخني دي بخت مساعدو خنواثن وخثواثن دي لي بعراق.
That heart connection.
Jacqueline Isaac is a San Diego attorney who has been to the front lines of the refugee crisis in Iraq and seen firsthand the horrific impact on the young.
And I heard it over and over. It wasn't just one case. Was that when they first take the girls, they tell them, you are my wife. And because you are my wife, if you agree right now to say, I am Muslim, this is the start. If you agree and say, I am Muslim, then I'm not gonna hurt you, okay? Will you be a Muslim? And the Yazidi girls say, no, we will not convert. Say, okay, then see what I'm gonna do to you. And the abuse starts. The raping starts, and they're thinking, I mean, can you imagine? You can't even begin to imagine a 15-year-old girl going through this. But at least there's this part of her that says, well, he's doing this to me, but at least I'm still Yazidi, or I'm still Christian. But after the rape is done, then they look at these girls in the eyes, and they say, well, you didn't do it voluntarily. You're a Muslim now because I raped you.
The need is urgent. Here are the facts. 4.5 million Syrians have fled their country. 320,000 Syrians have been killed, and 12,000 children have been killed. 2 million Iraqis have been displaced. Imagine, millions of children forced to quit school. Meanwhile, many children live in dangerous conditions. Please pause and consider. A record number of refugees need aid. We must help now. The country of Jordan is one of the focal points of the refugee crisis. Huge numbers have poured into this moderate country from Iraq and Syria. A Reload Love team went to Jordan to give aid, explore needs, and establish relationships.
With Reload Love, I've had the opportunity to go into some non-permissive environments. In other words, I probably shouldn't be where I was. And the places that I was able to travel, there are still continuing hostilities.
2008, as a Christian family, we used to go to church and go to work, and that's all. Then the people killed my father and my brother within 10 days. Those days we did not know exactly who killed them, but those who hate Christians. And then they killed 13 Christians from Mosul, all of them Christians. We thought that this is a safe place, and it was really a Christian town. Until ISIS came on the 6th of August 2014 and forced us to leave. They took the churches, our homes, our furniture, everything. We left barefooted. Within hours, they told us, you have to leave. Nobody stood with us from the authorities, and everybody had to leave. All the Christians had to leave. Even before ISIS came, the authorities told us by loudspeakers, you have to evacuate. Within hours, you have to leave your town quickly.
Her child was killed there in Syria. He was 7 years old. So him and his brother was walking in the street, and the sniper killed one of them while his brother was still holding his hand. And that was the reason why they flee from that area. They came to here, they walked in a desert. So they spent 4 days in walking. They were walking. It's a dangerous road, and there was people shooting. So they went to the Azraq camp, and the situation in the camp was very, very bad.
Beautiful, beautiful 15-year-old girl that I spoke about at the testimony in Congress. Ikhlas was a beautiful girl. She was minding her own business, and at 3 in the morning, ISIS came, and they changed the lives of her family and her forever. Middle of the night, they came. They opened the doors. They took all the men, rounded up the men on one side, took all the girls on the other side, and threw them in a bus. And Ikhlas watched men in her family get shot and killed in front of her eyes. I was shocked to find out that she was one of the girls that was kidnapped and raped. She didn't seem like it. She was so strong. She was fighting for the others with that smile. The other ones that were kidnapped and raped, she was fighting for them with that smile. She won my heart. I learned from her that she was taken with other women in her family, and they were put in a prison. And when they were put in this prison, men would come by, they would pick the ones they wanted. Ikhlas would take dirt and throw the dirt on her face to look as ugly as possible so that they wouldn't want her. And then one man finally took her. He grabbed her, took her back to a fighting area in Sinjar. And it was her and another 2 girls. And Ikhlas wanted to kill herself. And she shared with me why she survived. She said to me, I am alive today to not just rescue the girls that are still in the hands of ISIS, but to help every girl that's been abused, to help every girl that's been raped, to know that there's a chance for her. If I'm alive and I made it, they're gonna make it. Please, would you take my voice and share it to the world? Chip, it broke my heart. It broke my heart.
Refugee is not a homeless person. Even homeless people in the United States get meals and squares and relative safety. Refugee is so far beyond. It's not just what they're letting go of, it's what they're escaping from. They're not just running to, they're running from. running from hostility, but their home, their language, their culture, their families. And so a refugee has so little left. Dignity, humanity, a place to go to the bathroom, to shower.
In Amman, Lenya spoke with several Iraqi natives now living in Jordan due to intense persecution at home.
Especially the Christian, they were so scared that if ISIS came inside Baghdad, everything will stop. You will not be able even to leave. With all of that, in our area, I told you, there is a lot of police station and a lot of government offices. So a lot of bomb car every day bomb car. Because, you know, in Mosul, they start to take girls, kidnap them and rape them and sell them in the black market. So everyone was afraid, like most of the Christian, especially the families with girls. You know, in the black market, they put a price for like from 9 years old till 20, it will be for $300. From 20 to 30, it's for $200. From 30 to 40, it's for $100. Yes. So yeah, and it's not only with the Christian, or it was with the Yazidi. They kill all the men and they took like more than 3,000 girls.
These girls, they're not a statistic, they're not numbers. They can be my daughter, they can be my sister. They're a fellow human being that we must help. It's our call to help.
Reload Love has been actively assisting refugees from Syria and in Iraq, Jordan, and other countries, delivering aid and converting bullets into support for those touched by war. Each February, Reload Love partners with churches and individuals to drop the love bomb. One of their gifts was a new love bus that will allow children to attend a Christian school.
I think the reason the bullets make so much sense is transforming something that could be used for harm and seeing it bring forth redemption and something that can be beautiful. Beauty for ashes, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness. Something that was intended to hurt a child, that we, so to speak, are putting up a shield and trying to protect them. There is no reason ever that bullets and these babies should be intersecting. These kids are caught in the crossfire of terrorism. They have the plight of being born at the wrong place at the wrong time. Maybe it would be the righteous thing for someone to highlight that, to put an underscore, to say, let's stop this. Before long, we had hunters, policemen, the state police, people from caliber shooting ranges donating bullets. We have over 1,000 pounds of bullet casings in our office. So it was incredible that the sportsman has an opportunity to get involved with something that's happening all the way across the world. We use crucibles to melt down things, and that's such a strong word for many of us, to think about that. We can melt down junk metal. And it reminds me of World War I and World War II, where we tried to salvage things that we could for the war effort. Women were donating what they had, their cans, so that we could make ammunition. Well, now we have people who shoot ammunition and we melt it down so we can make something beautiful out of it. So this crucible has to be fired, and these bullets must be put into the molten product. Then it can be poured into molds. Then they come out into beautiful charms. Reload Love makes these beautiful charms to raise awareness. I want people to know when they see these charms that children are dying, children are being decapitated, children are being crucified, children are being kidnapped and raped and impregnated by ISIS, but no one really seems to care. Hopefully, if you have this around your neck, on your wrist, in your keychain, that someone will ask, what is that? And then you'll be able to say, Reload Love arms children with hope.
Reload Love is on the move. 7 countries have been reached. Reload Love raised $133,000 for 29 Iraqi refugee children's tuition, school supplies, and a school bus in Jordan. Reload Love funds were also given to aid internally displaced children in Myanmar. $90,000 was taken to Iraq for refugee aid, and $30,000 has been given to Kurdistan for relief. Help Reload Love build playgrounds to bring normalcy.
We will be getting to the place we're going to start turning battlegrounds into playgrounds. So we need guys who like to build things and be in the dirt and go to dangerous places. We will be recruiting men and women who would like to go to some of these countries, Jordan and Iraq specifically. We want to build playgrounds. So we need guys who like to weld, hammer, and bang things around. Anybody who works with traumatized children, whether they have just been sexually or physically abused by, let's just say, someone in the United States, there are 3 protocols when a child has been traumatized. I'll call them CAN. What can we do for these children? Number 1 is calm, safety, comfort. You need to restore calm and safety as quickly as possible. Number 2, you need to acknowledge them, that something happened to them that was not their fault. They didn't make it happen. And the final one is normalcy. The sooner you return normalcy to a child, that means school, home, playground. If you can put that back in their life quickly, they have a chance of overcoming that trauma. Playground sounds so counterintuitive, but you know what the kids are doing in the dusty fields of Iraq? They're playing ISIS. They are shooting their fingers and rocks at each other and playing who's going to be beheaded or who's going to be hurt. That is not a game any child needs to learn to play. What they need is a place where they can play and learn to cooperate with each other. How can you climb higher, swing further, enjoy each other, play on the monkey bars? This provides normalcy and an opportunity for children to be children. Reload Love is full of vision, and we don't want to stop at playgrounds. After we build playgrounds, we'd like to go back to the places where the playgrounds are, and we would like to introduce classrooms. And I'll call them capsule classrooms. There are shipping containers. Drywall them, turn them into a classroom, have plumbing, electricity, and we can drop a classroom right next to a playground. After we do these playgrounds, we'd like to go back and offer classrooms, so now the kids have a place where they can actually go to school.
The news from around the world is stunning. Persecution, execution, even children are suffering horrifically. The needs and numbers, they can be overwhelming, but as Christians, we can't be silent. We must act. One solution is to bring hope to children and start them on a road to recovery.
Believing as one, marching in love, trusting the battle is won. We are the army of love. We shout for those who can't speak.
Will you be a part of the solution to the refugee crisis? Join Reload Love now.
Bring hope and help children take a step towards recovery.
Calling for new life, calling for peace. Lord, come help them see they need your love.
We want to build playgrounds near battlegrounds to show our love in a real way.
Trusting the battle is won.
Will you help Reload Love build playgrounds for children who have lived on battlegrounds? Call now, 844-787-5683. That's 844-787-LOVE. Or go to reloadlove.com.
I've met with families who have been forced out of their homes by ISIS. I've seen the shock in their faces, and I want to bring hope into their lives. Let them know that we care.
There are children caught in the crosshairs of violence. Reload Love wants to touch them with God's love. Will you be a part of the solution to this horrific problem? Join the Army of Love. Fight back with tenderness to redeem the lives of children who have been impacted by terrorism. If your children were in the situation of these refugees, what would you want others to do? What are you willing to do? Will you give a gift now?
As a Christian, as a mother, I ask you, please act today.
So many of the problems we wrestle with are first world problems. These children have faced life and death. Now, Reload Love wants to help them down the road to recovery. We cannot do everything, but we can do something. Please give now.
ونشكر يعني كثير ناس منا.
You know, I thank everybody who helps us because really we have no income, nothing from UN.
نحن هون غالي ممنوع علينا الشغل.
And we are denied work, so we have no income.
ونشكر الرب يسوع.
We thank the Lord and we want to thank you especially for helping us and standing with us.
وأكيد نصلي لكم من كل قلبنا على كل هالعمل الخير.
We pray for you for all this good work that you're doing towards us.
هذا
وهذا. Two of my children, these two children were put in school this year because of your ministry. I want to thank the churches that helped me and my children from America. I urge you to continue what you have started. This is a great blessing to us.
Thank you. شكرا كثير. حابين نشكركم مرة ثانية.
I want to thank Reload Love again for your help.
نتمنى من كل.
And we really hope from all of our hearts, if we stay in Jordan or if we leave, that you continue to help the children that are here in Jordan.
التعليم هو من أثمن الأشياء اللي ممكن يحصل عليها أي شخص.
Education is the best that a person can obtain.
شكرا.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Reload Love. By the grace of God, we're here, and with your help, we're able to give things to kids, baby formula and clothes. We just finished a Good Life Club program. We're in Sinjar town that was just taken back from ISIS. These are the first families to come back from Sinjar. Thank you.
The country of Iraq is one of the hardest hit areas for the refugee crisis. That is why Reload Love has sent teams and continues to focus aid on Iraq. But the huge numbers of refugees are made up of individuals.
And when we were there, we met Dr. Bashar.
Lenya spoke with a doctor at a Jordanian refugee center, an Iraqi doctor forced to flee to Jordan with his family by ISIS.
So they asked all the people to leave the town within 3 hours.
What I learned as I was with these refugees is 3 things that I'll share today. Their past has been obliterated. Their present is being negotiated, but their future was completely anticipated by God.
In the morning of 6 August, one of the mortar bombed in our street, and 2 children at that time was killed.
Dr. Bashar said one of the most chilling things to us, when he said, "I have no past."
As a rheumatologist, and I had my own clinic, private clinic, and in the morning I had work in the government hospitals.
He had 2 practices, beautiful home, cars, a family, and they're told ISIS is coming, and he's not sure. So he tells his wife and children, "You head into the desert, and if it's for real, I'll come find you in the car." And so it is for real. The church bells start ringing, and they see the nuns taking the orphans away, so they know this is the real deal.
That is made us to decide to leave the town at that time.
The very people who are his neighbors and he'd known for 30, 40 years were the people who ratted on him.
So I lost all these things within 3 hours.
And sold your car just to be able to feed your children or find a place to sleep.
Yes.
Help Reload Love continue to reach Iraq, because the need is great and the time is now.
When you look at the extremists of this world, just remember that at some point they were children. And if they had the right seeds planted in them, what could they have been today instead of what they are? But our friends here at Reload Love are also doing great things to help the children and to build playgrounds. There's so much you can do. So look into your hearts and know that you can make a difference.
Will you be a part of the solution to this horrific problem? Call now, 844-787-5683. That's 844-787-LOVE. Or go to reloadlove.com.
كيف حالك؟
And the Son and the Holy Spirit.